I'm lucky, you know.
So, всім вітання. Мене звати Олена Ямпольська, я керівник проєкту, про який зараз ми вам всім розповім. Це проєкт капітального ремонту житлових будинків в місті Ірпінь Київської області з метою підготовки до зими. Тобто це будинки, які потребували першочергового критичного ремонту для того, щоб мешканці могли повернутися до свого міста, до своїх квартир та мешкати з дітьми та саме. І зараз поряд зі мною присутні всі учасники цього процесу. І я хочу надати слово Ірпінському міському голові Олександру Маркушину, який розповість нам про деякі аспекти цієї праці, як це, мабуть, було і наскільки це важливо для міста Ірпеня.
Дякую. Дуже радий всіх бачити сьогодні. І я трошки розповім історію, як взагалі це відбувалося і як важливо це для нашого міста. В квітні місяці повністю звільнили наше місто від ворога і, звичайно, постало питання, найголовніше – це відбудова і це другий виклик після перемоги в Ірпені. Треба було ремонтувати все, відновлювати і для того, щоб люди повернулися.
People to come back. 95% of all the citizens of the city were evacuated. Our team set up the European Reconstruction Summit. We invited as many architects as we could to our city. We thought we would have 20 to 30 architects to assist us in drawing plans for reconstruction. But we were so happy when the response was somewhere in the territory of 300 architects. So we began our drawing plans to restore the critical infrastructure and the plans for the capital repairs of the damaged building. It is safe to say and state now that the team that is sitting here have been stakeholders in renovating 4 residential buildings. We selected 4 buildings. And of course, not only these 4 demand and require repairs, we did some design works. Our colleagues went to the site. It was right after the occupation in April. Now friends from Italy said, it's all right. We roll up our sleeves and we'll work on that. They went back to their foundation to search for the fundings and so on. In a couple of months' time, they came back and they said, we are now setting up the procedures to select the people who would be participating. Of course, we told them that we will be looking at the quality of that work with all the conditions. As of now, we have seen 4 buildings completely renovated in terms of boilers, roofings. The work is extraordinary. We spent $700,000, meaning that 450 families have begun their new lives. We understand that today the government doesn't have money to fund the restoration. The priority, and the first priority, is our victory. This is the best experience that we would like to share with other city mayors. This is going to be a pilot project for the restoration works throughout Ukraine. What are the first steps that we undertook? Of course, we have covered that path when we renovated these 4 buildings, but our friends and ourselves have concentrated on 4 buildings. we are looking forward to the upcoming assistance. Let me remind you that in the private sector, about 3,000 buildings were damaged, including 1,500 completely ruined and 1,500 who are in need of the current repair or capital repair. We have done a lot in this area. As for the multi-story buildings, we are talking about 524 buildings damaged. 39 of those were completely destroyed and must be dismantled. More than 300 high-rises have been renovated, and 308 buildings include those 4 buildings that our friends have helped us to restore. My thanks go to these people from myself, from our community, but there are a lot of buildings. We are talking about 140 high-rises that are in need of capital or running repairs. Now, of course, we will not be turning to other foundations to make sure that we renew and restore our building. Restoration and reconstruction of the hero city of Ukraine is high priority for us. Our team and myself, we are writing to different foundations and benefactors to our twin cities. Not everybody can help us, but for those who can, we are thankful to them. Our city of Irpin is the city in the Kiev region that has suffered the most, unfortunately. But we shall remember that Irpin, why is it that it was damaged? Because it was a shield and the protector of the capital city. The city saw the terrible fights in the streets of our city, not to make sure that the enemy would not go to Kiev. Glory to Ukraine. Thank you, City Mayor. I would like to give the floor to Mr. Saviana Abrao. Oh no, excuse me, Petro Ryabuchin. He will brief us on what is likely to be our permanent partners, the organization that directly gave us the money, people who are helping Ukraine. We believe this is extremely important. We need this, and we have proven that these monies have been used transparent way. Peter, the floor is yours. Welcome, everybody. It's so good to have heard those nice words. On our side, I would like to single out a couple of messages. This is the project of a working cooperation between grassroots, international community, and the city authorities. As for the donors, this is very important for the Ukrainian Humanitarian Fund, including. Second point, this is only part of a major and bigger project of what we are doing to the people that have suffered. For example, to support the people that have suffered during the winter, the Ukrainian Humanitarian Fund has allocated more than $25 for the whole territory of Ukraine, aiming to provide support in terms of heating, to restore the energy system and delivery, and to renew the housing stock. This is the project which is one of the steps in a broader way. Over the year 2022, since the beginning of the war, the Ukrainian Humanitarian Fund of the UN has allocated more than $192 million to meet humanitarian needs of the country. This is the instrument that is very important to ensure a fast-track support for the needs that Ukraine is facing hourly and daily. This is why what we are seeing today is only a small part of what we plan to do in general. Thank you.
Дуже дякую.
Thank you. Now we are moving very fast. I would like to give the floor to perhaps our main partners, the team that has helped us to implement this project in Irpin, the people who have helped us to implement the project in terms of management, supporting us every day and every night when we were staying here in Ukraine, in Irpin. I would like to give the floor to Enzo, who is the project manager of the Third Zone project, the foundation that directly gave us the money. Enzo, the floor is yours.
I will speak in English because my Ukrainian is really nothing at the moment. I have been in Ukraine for 4 years before, but people was so gentle with me that I just learn Yaku, and that's all. Anyway, I was here and in the month of April, to the month of April, and I met through the interest of the sea and the major in Irpin in April. And with terrorism, we faced the first situation for the rebuild was necessary after the big attack. So
Yes, you can
yeah,
do it.
I will be a little bit slower. Okay. So after my first visit, I came again with the senior project manager of Terzam, Bruno Neri, in April. The 1st of April, we were here, and we start to take a look to all the whole situation of Irpin. After a while, we understood with Third Zone that it was possible to have people back in Irpin. But the main problem, it was to be fast in rebuild many buildings. So okay. So after the first side of the situation, with Bruno Neri, the senior manager of Third Zone, we decided to try to find funds to help the population of Irpin to come back to normal life. The occasion, it was given by the UHF Fund that give the possibility to tear the zone to develop one project to help people to cross the situation of the winter. So terrorism applied to a call of the Ukrainian Humanitarian Fund managed by OCHA, and we present this project about fixing with the light and medium repair some condominiums, and we focus on them, on condominiums, to have let's say, to give the possibility to much more people possible with the lowest expense of money to have their home fixed and the possibility of living inside their home. And we reach something like 1,190 beneficiaries. With the first project, we find that 3 condominiums with around from 30 to 200 apartments inside was seriously damaged. And after a review, it was possible to help another condominium. And our strategy, it was to focus on the common parts, on the windows repair, on the heating system and the roof repair, to give to all the people living in the condominium the possibility of coming back to their home and start again their life. The project was expected to finish at the end of December, as it was the program, but we asked to have a delay of the project due to the fact that meanwhile we faced some problem like the shortage of electricity and the continuous alarms in Kiev that slow a little bit down the work. But at the end, we are proud to say that today the work is done and people is living inside their apartment, their home, and most of the people of Irpin that we targeted are able to live their life in Irpin now. For the rest to describe better the activities of Terdezom in Ukraine, now I will leave the field to my colleague, Martina Manocchi, who is from Terdezom. But I want personally, again, say thank you to all the people that work since starting from the build company and all the personnel of the building company. Yeah, that was very, very effective in the build, very fast, and that faced big problems in this work. I want to thank our partner, CSC, Center for Social Communication. Since the start, they were at our side, helping us, guiding us in decision and helping us in contact with majority. And so it was a choral work who involved many people. And we need all to thank the UH Fund for the opportunity of giving help so needed at the moment here in Ukraine. Thank you very much.
Дякую. І я хочу надати слово, як і казав
I would love to give the floor to Martina Manocchi to tell a few words about the project and to highlight a couple of those things.
Supervising the projects that TDH has in Ukraine. And this morning, I would like just quickly describe what TDH is doing in Ukraine, why we are here, and what we are planning to do in the next months. Terdezom Italia is part of the wider Federation of Terdezom and works in more than 20 countries all over the world. And its mandate is the protection of children's rights. But TDH has different projects in several fields, which are protection, education, health, including mental and maternal health. As a response to the Ukrainian crisis and the Russian aggression started on February last year, TDH first opened a base in Poland to respond to the needs of the Ukrainian refugees seeking for refuge there. The work that TDH did in Poland with Ukrainian refugees was setting up safe spaces for women and children, provide them with legal support, Polish language courses, orienteering women to find a job and a house, and of course providing psychological support and psychosocial assistance to those children and women traumatized by the displacement, by the conflict ongoing. In Ukraine, we set up our mission, as my colleague mentioned, starting from April, and we conducted assessment to understand in which geographical areas to work and in which sectors to prioritize. I won't focus on the Irpin project because my colleagues talk a lot about it, and I will give you an idea of the other projects that we have ongoing in Ukraine at the moment. TDH main office is in Kiev, but we are implementing projects in Kiev region, Mykolaiv region, and we have some activities as well in Cherkasy and Kharkiv. At the moment, we have several health projects ongoing, funded by different donors, including the Italian government, the Polish Medical Mission, and other Italian private foundations. What are we doing is trying to support public hospitals through the provision of medicines, medical equipment, generators, and any kind of support needed, as well as training for preventing the burnout in health workers and other smaller activities. Through a local partner in Mykolaiv, we are also providing general medical services and psychological assistance to vulnerable and displaced population. In Mykolaiv and Kharkiv, we are also conducting activities of awareness on the risks related to mine and explosives, trying to target especially children. So TDH is working mainly in the health sector, but The future plans are also to integrate our current interventions with more protection and education interventions targeting the most vulnerable children, including the displaced ones and the ones living in the most conflict-affected areas. And TDH remains committed to protect the right of the Ukrainian children to access quality education and to be protected from any violence and abuse, and will continue to work in the country in the coming months to support the most vulnerable Ukrainian population. Thank you.
Дуже дякую, Мартина. Зараз я хочу запропонувати
Thank you, Martina. I would suggest that we should look at a short video of what has been done in the city of Irpin, particularly a special high-rise that we were renovating. A maimed house in this street of Mineralna. A good life is now history. This high-rise was repaired in the framework of the Irpin Reconstruction Summit with the help of the Italian philanthropists. This is a flat that saw the airstrike. Instead of walls, they had a hole. But now, this man says, we are living better than it used to do. I don't recognize my building. What we saw was a situation where we saw no windows, holes in our walls. Now I am coming back and I feel some renovation, some renaissance, happiness. I feel that life is going on. This woman has a flat on the 5th floor. After the attack of the Russians, the flat didn't have neither walls nor the balcony. I understood that the war is raging on in the country and the government cannot help us, so I decided to do what I could on my own. I set in windows, but due to the assistance, now I have balconies. And it is cozy place. The roof is not leaking. The building is now, it's a pleasure to look at it. 28 families came back due to the Terdezom help and the Ukrainian Humanitarian Fund. The Irpin Reconstruction Summit is the first project in Ukraine that has pulled hundreds of architects throughout the world. This period, of course, in the country means that the country has other priorities, weapons, paying for the military. So our task was to do something on our own, to look for the assistance. My colleagues have done unprecedented volume of work, and my thanks go to those who are working for the Irpin Reconstruction Summit, the volunteers, those people who are extraordinary in their effort. They're speeding up the reconstruction of our city. What you see behind me is the building that is showcasing the result of their work. Together with other buildings, this condominium has been restored, as well as other 3 buildings in different streets. Altogether, there are 450 flats. The project manager, Elena Polska, has just come back from Italy. She said that we are facing a prospect of rebuilding more than 4 buildings. We are ready to do our utmost and to do more. Everyone is ready, and we are working on this from the point of view to effect a full-scale renovation. Currently, we are talking about the minor repairs, but we will see more money coming in. The reconstruction will be going step by step. This project wants to attract more people, but people are so happy, and the manager of the condominium is also happy. You see, we could not have afforded such things as heating, windows, roofing, because 50% of our dwellers are pensioners. So very deep and many thanks. Thank you. I would like to thank those who shot this episode. It tells you what kind of work has been done, what people feel about it. I would like to go back to Mr. Alexander, the Irpin City Mayor. Just for 1 minute. Once again, I would like to thank our colleagues for their help. You have seen yourselves the result of the work. I've been talking to many residents, and I saw happiness in their eyes. Let me tell you the following. Today we are facing a major task in the occupied territories. Infrastructures, facilities must be renovated, buildings must be renovated, flats must be renewed, so that the Ukrainians would come back from abroad. And where will they come back to? To their homes. Their children will go to schools and the kindergarten to begin their new life anew. The Ukrainian president and the presidential office, the diplomatic corps, are doing everything possible to receive weaponry, money, humanitarian aid from throughout the world. Our task, the public servants, our first priority is to show fast-track reconstruction. Our partners in Canada, in Italy, in Europe want to see that this process is transparent. This is where the community comes in. This is where quality comes in. If we meet these 3 criteria, we will provide a high-quality restoration with high-quality transparency. Thank you. To draw the line, I would like to thank our partners, UHCO, the Ukrainian Humanitarian Fund, Italian Foundation, the Irpin City Council. You see, because of the interaction of this team, we have been working in the framework of the European Reconstruction Summit together with the Center for Public Communication. We have received a lot of experience how to do things in a transparent way, to do it fast, to ensure that people come back, because people are willing to live in Ukraine. I go very often abroad, and I hear that people are willing to come back. Let me also thank you for the expertise in talking and communicating to citizens and people of Irpin. We opened all kinds of information. People could contact the developer, the building company, and we believe that this is a democratic way to follow in how we will be working in the future. We stand ready to share the insights in this model because this model is working. This model is effective. It gives the feeling of what you saw on the screen. And we have the end beneficiary will be 1,200 people. Everyone has their own desires, have their own leanings. This is very simple. They want to live in their houses. The model is open to be shared. I come back with my thanks to our partners, and I hope that in some time in the future we will see again each other to share the insights about the new projects. If you have questions from the floor, if the journalists have questions, we will be answering them now.
Ні, це потрібно до мікрофону, і я прошу пробачення. Пане Петр, ви допоможете нам? Да. Робіть паузи, щоб ми змогли перекласти на англійську мову.
You are supposed to speak sentence by sentence for the interpreters to work. I would like to address the city mayor of Irpin. What is your estimation of the damage that Irpin has suffered in the cause of Russian Federation? Our estimation in general is in the ballpark of $1 billion. But last year was something we did a lot, and this sum has decreased somewhat. Thank you. Do you have more questions from the floor? In this case, I thank you and thank you and thank you. To reiterate, I believe that in a couple of months' time, we'll be happy to see you here talking about other projects in the city of Irpin and other Ukrainian cities. Thank you.